All right, so question is, let's first deal with NSA. It's amazing. Everyone is focused on this, but the electorate seems to do, I don't know, Andrew, a collective shrug on it.
It's complicated.
It is.
It's complicated, and it also strikes to a debate that we've had many times, which is I haven't done anything wrong, so I don't have anything to worry about. And there's a fear that, or
Tom's
a sense,
already
there's a sense that it doesn't really matter because that's only for the bad guys. Civil liberties have always been a tough issue to fight for, and it's a difficult argument. It's why the ACLU has been castigated as much as they have in so many debates that we've had. So, plus a lot of people sign over their privacy. On the iTunes thing with
it's not just governmental, it's consumer and stuff. The last thing I talked about with the Congressman to me is really interesting because, Dominic, a lot of times, let's face it, when you talk about social safety net issues, I happen to believe really important and stuff, but the general electorate's like, okay, it doesn't really affect me, okay? I think it's different this time. I mean, you saw it play out in the mayoral race. But that's New York City, you can argue. We've seen this in Syracuse now. You've seen this in Rochester. You're seeing this in places beyond. Even in Westchester, Jeanne, you get the idea. Noam Brampton said, if I had to do it over again, I would have done a tale of two counties. That might have helped him out. They're going to have to vote, Republicans, on food stamps. They're going to have to vote as it relates to extended unemployment benefits. They're going to have key votes here on things that will define them to a certain degree as a party. And it's not just the bottom end here. You saw the numbers about the amount of people who are either at the poverty level or near it, and it's staggering nationally. I think for the first time, and it's not the 1% of the 99 and the Occupy movement. This one's got a different face to it. The president's talked about it, the Pope's talked about it. I heard the congressman say this. Democrats seem willing to fight on this one in the midterms. I think they can sell it.
In the past, that argument would not have worked in the past. But the reason why it might be quite effective currently and going forward is that safety net is no longer for just a few. Elaborating on your comment, that safety net is growing and growing and growing, and more middle-class people are being thrown under that net.
Or know somebody that's there.
Or know someone, but more and more Americans are being put in that category of, how am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to pay my kids' tuition? How am I going to put food on the table? And it becomes an effective argument, and it boxes Republicans in
and what blew
at
me
the
away
same
was
time.
unemployment, Richard. I didn't know this. Maybe you guys did. Of the unemployed in this country, 40% nearly have been unemployed for 26 weeks or more. The long-term unemployed. So if you think about it, it's not just inner city fill in the blank. You got people at manufacturing jobs in all across this country, even in red states, who say, time out here. Where do I go? Tell me where I'm finding this magical job here or wherever else. It's not like I've been lazing, eating Twinkies, watching, Jerry Springer all day. I'd like to have a job. I can't find it. So, I don't know. I think Republicans got to be a little bit more careful this time than just saying wealth redistribution.
Let's just talk about that for a second. So when Obama first came into office, the middle class, there was a poll that said that the middle class believed that Obama, about 56% believed that Obama could help the middle class. He's now down below 50%. Okay, Congress is at 13% approval rating. The president, as we see, is at 35% approval ratings. Why? Is because there has been no leadership at the top. 0 packages from the president have passed. Where's the jobs reform plan? Jobs plan,
we can
tax
save a lot
reform,
of time by saying there's a reason why stuff hasn't gotten through, right?
Well, the leadership, it has to come from the president also. He's got to work with Congress. That's the point, is he's got to work with Congress to get his agenda pushed through.
He's got to be a conservative Republican.
No,
Right,
he does not.
it's amazing.
But he has to
Richard,
work with Congress.
Translation, shut down the government, cut all social programs, and we'll work with you.
But no,
that's certainly not. That's not it.
There is an argument, if Republicans could come around to it, for them to make, which is a solutions argument, right? One of the Democrat solutions is to raise the minimum wage. You talk to economists and they say, you raise the minimum wage as much as the president wants, it doesn't put families above the poverty line. So if Republicans could come to a solution and find a way to raise families out of poverty, the earned income tax credit, for instance, or some other solution, that would be a way for them to combat what I think Dominic is right when he talks about the fact this is a winning argument for Democrats. Republicans, though, could do the same thing that moderate Democrats did in the 1990s with Clinton.
Republicans,
and make an
for example,
argument.
take the Farm Bill, right? Farm Bill, which as was the example today, some farmers are going to be paid $300,000 to basically stop growing crops at the end of the year and go away. They don't call that welfare, but yet they don't want to give $300 a month, right, to a family here to put food on the table, okay? Because that galls them to do it. I don't see that they can find some kind of middle ground. They hate the idea of
What is it,
passed.
8
That has
billion
not
in
passed.
food stamps? Is it 8 billion? I can't remember the number, but it's somewhere close. It's a huge amount of money. If Republicans could say, look, there is a waste going on here. Here's a better solution. Strategically, they could be in the driver's seat on this thing.
But that has
but
to-
they
but
haven't been there. I
Let's
agree
get away
with
from
you.
food stamps. I mean, look, if we can give people jobs so that they can have money, they can buy their own food.
So you
Look,
know what? There's
expand it-
ideas. For example, infrastructure projects. Put a lot of
Well,
people to work.
That's one of many. But
Oh,
listen,
no,
we
but-
need a
So
jobs
tell me this
program.
magical. I will be quiet. Richard, tell me this magical jobs program. We're going to put people to work.
Sure.
And who's going to employ them?
Richard
Small
is.
businesses. You've got to help small businesses through incentives and tax decreases for small businesses because they are the
Historically-
largest employers of America.
Historically-
Not raising somebody's minimum wage at McDonald's. You want McDonald's to hire 30,000 new workers at $10 an hour? That's not the solution.
Say job creators. You haven't mentioned job creators yet. Say job creators.
Small businesses are job
But
creators.
it's true. If
Is that-
Republicans,
that's talking- that's it.
No,
Democrats
that's it.
have
That's it.
solutions, and they're offering solutions. That's why they are probably in the driver's seat for 2014 and 16. But if Republicans could come together and offer alternative solutions and make the case that there are better
They
solutions,
empathetically can't stand government as being part of the equation.
but it doesn't
And
have
there's
to be
not
a
another way to
government
do it.
solution. But look at minimum wage. It's not going to get families out of poverty in the country,
Nor is
according
raising
to
the
most
taxes on
economists.
all.
You know,
all-
I-
What if I follow
you can
that
tax to
argument?
death
We
the
never
1%. That
raised-
still would
But
not solve
I'm
our
not
issues.
opposed to raising the minimum
Right.
wage. But if you
It's
look
not
at
in
the
its
numbers,
isolation,
in
don't solution,
isolation, it's not going to solve the problem you want to solve. So if Republicans could find their way to solve it, they could be in the driver's seat.
Rich, here's what I would give you. The Republicans need a plan for the war on poverty. They need a plan for how to deal with poor people. Okay? They have not come up with that. But they do have a plan
You know
to deal
what?
with small
We're going to
businesses.
pick it up with you.
Okay.
Nice tie, by the way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You're a very impressive ensemble. When we come back, though, we talk, by now you know, Obama's numbers aren't good here. But the question is, what can he do to improve them next year? We talked about some things that may be landmines for Republicans, but the president's going to be sitting down with advisors, trust me, out in Hawaii, and they're going to figure out how 2014 can be better than 13. What's the strategy to turn around for them? I'm sure Richard's dying to give them a roadmap for that here. We'll be right back. Stay with us.